This episode of Super Over is brought to you by DP World. From transporting the soil and grass 1,200 miles to New York for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup, through to the Beyond Boundaries initiative to make cricket more accessible. DP World's smart logistics help deliver the game at all levels. Smart logistics, beyond boundaries. Welcome to the Super Over with Jarrod Kimber and Steve Harmison here. And, there's a great many things that Harmy is an expert on. Do you make many hundreds and take a fiver in the same game?
No, I've gone for 100 and took a fiver in the same game. But no, that's magical. That is, the history tells you there's only 4 people ever that's happened to. And
as a captain.
As a captain. And I think it's had ramifications on his body, but I think he'll take that.
He did look broken by the end, didn't he? He could barely bend down to pick up the ball.
He did. But, if anybody wants to look into that, anything into that, that's a guy that's threw into everything at this series. He's bowled more overs than he's ever bowled in a series. He took more wickets than he's ever took in a series. He's batted a hell of a long time. Balls faced for not runs scored, I think, in this series in crucial times. And I think that sometimes gets missed when people say, "Oh, Ben Stokes is out of form." It's not out of form. I think and then he's come today, and that was brilliant.
He was out of flow.
A little bit out of flow.
Whereas this morning he came out. I can't remember if it was the cover drive or the back foot punch that he played early on, where I was just like, "Where was this last night?" Like, he never looked anything like that last night. He just came out and he just timed the ball really well. I thought today was the best I've seen him bat in a long time.
Yeah, I'll take that. I think he's grinded and he's fought. And I think great players do that. Great players find a way. Great players find a way when things maybe aren't all in sync. And I think he's done that throughout this series. And I think he's deserved what he's got this week because, that's an unbelievable knock. Off the back of bowling the overs he did, taking the 5 for getting England in a position. You just hope that the ramifications of what's happened over the course of the first 4 days won't hamper England winning, because it just seems as though the difference between England not winning now and England possibly not winning tomorrow could be the fact that Ben doesn't bowl in the fourth innings.
It's really interesting. I talked before about him fielding. We saw him kick a ball at one stage. There's a couple of others that went near him. He just let them roll around him. He's clearly not feeling great. At one stage, he's probably going to have to bowl tomorrow based on what we've seen today.
Yeah, and I think that probably that would have been the grand plan, wouldn't it? It would have been the grand plan. At 0 for 2.
He was like, I don't need to bowl.
And I think that probably the grand plan is him not bowling in an ideal world. So it wouldn't surprise me if... I think my game plan for Ben tomorrow would be, we've got 17 overs to the new ball. Can we get through that 17 overs, utilise the new ball, and then if I have to bowl, I have to bowl if my body allows. I don't see him bowling before that. And to be fair, it's a big ask for his team, because his team they've gone to the well a few times in this series. It has been difficult, but I think it needs one last big push from Jofra, from Wokes, and from Cars to help him not bowl. But if he has to bowl, I'm sure he will in that middle session. But I would imagine, and I would be saying to him, hold your spell back. And if you've only got one spell in you and it's a 6 over to an 8 over spell, I'd rather you do it with a second new ball rather than with the ball that's a little bit older.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And of course, the reason he's going to have to bowl is that Chris Wokes took 2 wickets in the first over. He was on a hat-trick. We'll get to him in a minute. But India was in all sorts of problems. And then KL Rahul and Shubman Gill started batting together. And there was a drop catch, that Liam Dawson probably should have taken. There was a couple of inside edges at times, a couple of plays and misses. But they basically didn't make a mistake for 2 sessions.
No, they batted really well. I don't think England bowled badly. I thought England bowled better lines and better lengths than what India did. The Dawson one for me, I'm going to stick up for Liam a little bit. There was 2 no balls, and Liam had to go twice to the umpire and then have to come back because he was bowling at the time. And Liam was probably thinking about bowling his first ball when the ball actually came to him. So no excuse. Should have caught it.
If you were bowling, would that have been going through your mind, or would you be like, mate?
At the time, probably no, because the situation of the game was, and it was on a knife edge. But I think
the head of swinging then to the ball.
Yeah, I was quite. I was quite realistic when it comes to drop catches. Nobody does it on purpose. And I think I probably, after the initial 5 minutes of calming down, by the time I'd started the next over, I'd have understood that he was probably thinking about his over, and I know I just got out to fine leg, and I'm not expecting the ball to come to me. He's in a catching position, and I've feel in catching positions a couple of times, and it's difficult when you're bowling. No excuse though, he should have caught it.
I was talking to Ben Jones today on early on in the day, and the one thing we said about this wicket, and Bumble's been talking about it on the Super over all the way through, is yes, the ball keeps a little bit low. Yes, it does a little bit, but it's actually very hard to get wickets. And once those two guys got in, that's what you realised. If they don't make mistakes, there was a point when I think Gill made a mistake against Joe Root when he came down the wicket when he didn't need to and got himself in a tangle. And the next ball, I think KRL almost hit a pull shot to a fielder. But if you don't make mistakes, it's actually very hard to be dismissed, even when it keeps low.
I think the demons in this wicket are wide. I think the demons in this wicket are outside off stump. So if it does bounce or it does keep low, I think it's outside off stump. What Shubman Gill did there was unbelievable. If he bats through to tomorrow, that's off. That's as good as anybody. That's probably goes past Atherton and the Wanderers. But what I'll say,
we should just ask him because it is
going past. But I think from KRL's, what he did really well was he's played for his off stump unbelievably well in England. So a lot of times we're commentating and we're going, has he played and missed it that? He's not played and missed it because he's backed on the inside. So I think the reason why KRL is getting success in England is because he knows where his off stump is. He's standing there and he knows exactly where that off stump is. And I think if you can do that as an overseas opener, you've got a chance of surviving in England and scoring runs. And I think the two of them batted unbelievably well. I didn't think England, like I said before, I didn't think England bowled badly. Liam Dawson, I've not learned anything more or less from Liam's point
I agree.
of view. I didn't think that Liam was going to go and blow a team away. But what I thought he would do was hold an end up and and bowl dry. He's done that.
What about Wokes?
I just think.
Do you think he's now going to make it to the Ashes based on this?
I don't think I don't think 2 wickets should base whether he's going to the Ashes or he's not. I think England might have to have a conversation at the end. England will know their plan for Australia, and if Vokes is in it, then great, Chris goes. If he's not in it, I think a tap on the shoulder at the end of this test match, like Jimmy Anderson, about possibly what he could have at the Oval, and a decision he might need to make, because if he doesn't go to Australia, you're arguably saying that's his career over, and I think you've got to be very careful when you're making these decisions, because you're ending somebody's career. I think Chris Wokes should go to Australia. I think the package he gives is too good, and there might be places he can play. But for me, they're tired. They look tired. India have had some changes. England haven't had changes. They've kept a similar unit. And the one bowler that did bring in, he hadn't played a test match he hadn't played a red ball game in 4 years. So it's understandable that these are tired. Bowlers aren't robots. I mean, it's a tiring thing to do. And when you look at where both teams are at this moment in time, both teams are you can tell that you don't play too many 5 test match series, and we don't play too many 5 test match series that go all 5 days.
We're on our way. It is a tiring series in every single way. I tell you this, today we thought there was a chance it would only be a 4-day match and we wouldn't see Rishabh Pant bat. Tomorrow we think it now fairly likely that we'll see Rishabh Pant. There's 2 dangerous positions for India tomorrow. Obviously it's starting again in the morning, but also that second new ball. We will bring you both here on talkSPORT Cricket.